Good morning friends, you are most welcome to Think Eyes channel. Today we are going to discuss Practicing Anthropology by MAAN IGNOU, and our topic is Participation in Civil Society and the State. Let us begin the topic. Practicing Anthropology. Anthropologists engage beyond the university is not a new phenomena. In an article Towards an Anthropology of Public Policy, according to Vidal et al., anthropologists of American, British, and other tradition have long recognized the intertwining of anthropological topics with policy. For example, Boas studies of immigrants conducted at the behest of the United States Immigration Commission demonstrated that race is a changing social construct, and that physical differences between races are variable and depend on context. 2005. Many British social anthropologists such as Edward E. Evan Pritchard, Max Gluckman, Raymond Firth, and Frederick Barth have studied how social institutions and social policies are organized, function, and change, and the way these influence social actors, social boundaries, and the construction of social identities. Belshaw argued that anthropologists should look at social interaction, exchanges, and processes such as nationalism and development from the ground up in relation to colonialism and those in power. He suggests that in understanding these relationships and complex processes, we can glimpse the way in which men and women create society. As he summed it up, in an ultimate sense, society is itself policy making, cited from Vidal 2005. On the other hand, some exemplary work done on national character that influences the state and academic perspective are the Ruth Benedict's The Chrysanthemum and The Sword on Japanese national character 1946 and Margaret Mead's and Keep Your Powder Dry, an anthropologist looks at America 1942. In India, anthropology has long existed in arenas outside the university, particularly in the government, especially for the Planning Commission of India. In the second plan, an important landmark was the opening of 43 special multipurpose tribal blocks SMPTB, later called Tribal Development Blocks TDB. Each block was planned for about 25,000 people as against 65,000 in the normal blocks. In 1959, the SMPTB Committee, means Special Multipurpose Tribal Blocks Committee, chaired by Warrior Alvin, studied the working of these blocks and found that they were providing useful. Website name is http://planningcommission.nic.in. Reports Sareport Sar Study Tribal.pdf. Similarly, during the fifth period or fifth planning commission or fifth plan period, the concept of tribal subplan TSP was implemented. On the eve of this plan, the tribal situation had been evaluated by the expert committee under the chairmanship of S.C. Dubey and by a task force on tribal areas under L.P. Vidyarathi. Dubey opined that individual welfare approach and schematic block development approach are inappropriate for those areas. An integrated development approach should cover the entire tribal areas. The problem will be different for states which have a tribal majority and for those in which the community is in a minority. The tribal majority states in the northeast are compact and viable units whose plans in effect are plans of tribal development. No separate areas development plans for tribals for these states are necessary. M. N. Srinivas, in an article titled Practicing Social Anthropology in India in the Annual Review of Anthropology 1997, about his career as an anthropologist, writes, "My becoming a social anthropologist was largely accidental. After passing the intermediate examination at the University of Mysore in mid 1933, I was wondering which subjects to take for the BA course when fate walked in. Further, he letters that I was unemployed and in the midst of an intellectual and moral crisis. It was at this juncture that I came across quite accidentally Ruth Benedict's Pattern of Culture 1934. I found the book fascinating and its main idea of looking at cultures holistically and characterizing each culture on the basis of its domain theme was a refreshing contrast to looking at cultures as assemblies of myriad discrete elements drawn from different parts of the world and across millennia. What attracted M.N. Srinivas most was that Benedict demonstrated the integral relation between a culture and its members, showing how in each culture some personality types are preferred while others are considered undesirable. Many early anthropologists such as Patrick Gelds, S.C. Roy and Warrior Alvin attracted towards the discipline through their involvement in vital societal issue or social issues. Gates, for instance, who set up the Bombay Department of Sociology, was a town planner. Roy, who started the journal Man in India, became interested in advocating for the entitlements of the tribals. Sundar Warrior Alvin, while working in the tribal areas of Madhya Pradesh, wrote several monographs. He submitted a report on the functioning of a special multi-purpose tribal blocks and made a number of useful recommendations. The extent and form of involvement of anthropologists have increased steadily. Anthropologists have taken three positions: first, practicing in academics; second, as practitioners in the state, civil society organizations, and the development agencies; third, practicing as academicians and as practitioners both by providing strategic directions. In the last position, very often challenge remains to balance between the professional needs and retaining the principles of the discipline. French Boyce referred it as the service of truth. Boyce, as the first president of the American Anthropological Association, was censored in 1919 after he criticized scholars who served as spies during World War I. Boyce suggests that anthropologists need to preserve a distinction between spies and scholars.